sound booth, encore, and many more. If you go for courses now, you should be able to maximize the full potential of all the software by next year.
Adobe's long-term strategy here is to provide a world-class creative platform for all kinds of professionals, whether they're in print, video, or web. And our video platform, we believe, is scalable. So it will appeal to the Hollywood studios as well as the smaller indie film type post-production studios. And we believe that video is the next revolution. If you look at what's happening in MySpace.com and YouTube, you really start to see moving pictures take on a much bigger presence on the web and everywhere else. And we believe our tools will help those people communicate better.
To handle all this work processes, you probably need a powerful multimedia machine. HP has one such powerful laptop, the Dragon Pavilion HDX, running on the latest Intel Centrino Core 2 Duo 2.4 GHz CPU, 4 GB of RAM, ATI Radeon HD 2600 XT graphics card, and 200 GB SATA hard disk. Goodbye to lags. And when we talk about multimedia laptop, inadvertently, we are drawn to speak to Sony. We spoke to Goto-san, the man behind the successful Sony Vaio.
今年バイオは10周年を迎えたわけですけど、次の10年を考えるにおいてやはり一番大事なのはユーザーのことを考えることだと思っています。ただその考え方っていうのは来年のモデルを考えることと2年後3年後を考えるモデルではやはり考え方が違うと思います。ただそこで一番大事なのはやはりユーザーがどのように使うかということだと思います。まず重要なのがそのテクノロジーのロードマップを把握して、それが当たり前に世の中に出た場合どういう世の中が来るのか、その時ターゲットとするユーザーっていうのは一体何を求めるのか、それをただロードマップの一個一個のアイテムとして把握するんじゃなくて、それらが全てアベラブルになった時にユーザーが何を感じるかということを想像することが一番大事だと思います。そこからやはりそのユーザーのユーザビリティにかなったパーソナライズすべきアイテムというのが出てくるというふうに考えています。おそらくそこにかなうものとしては今見たこともないようなものも出てくるのかもしれません。
To run, you must first learn how to walk. And to master moving visuals, you must first be good with your still images. Free crash course for amateur photographers, complimentary at That's IT.
Every nice photograph should have a main subject. So look at this picture here, for example. The main subject is actually a small little kid here. And in composition, there's this thing called the rule of thirds. That means you will have the section, all right, the cross in the section, divide the viewfinder into 9 equal boxes, and you place your main subject at the intersection. In this case, this is my main subject. I position the main subject here.
If you'd like to take your hobby to the next level, but still want to keep your day job, you're considered a prosumer, a professional consumer. Get it?
A mid-segment camera would produce speeds in shooting frames of up to 5 frames per second, for instance. But for professionals, it could go up to 8 frames per second. And capturing sports photography, for instance, like a racing car or someone who's doing a high jump or 100-meter sprint, every single frame begins to matter. What is important for consumers to understand that the measure of quality produced by a digital camera doesn't just reside in the number of pixels available in the camera. There are a lot of other factors, such as the processing engine of the camera, the autofocus, the focusing system of the camera, and these areas, technical in nature, do dictate the eventual quality of the picture.
For entry level, the Nikon D40x is one of the best designed. Shooting at 10 megapixels, the processing chip handles the data well and produces very sharp and rich images. Instant on functions also give added advantages to the Nikon D40x. Another entry-level camera is this Canon EOS 400D. This one has very similar functions with the D40x, and both cameras are already out in the market. So photo enthusiasts, start saving up because you will be spoiled for choice. Now that you have created some chef d'oeuvre of your own, you might want to consider printing them out for your friends and family members. Coming soon in Singapore, you not only can share and preserve your precious photos online, you can even print your own 4x6 photos, posters, greeting cards, mugs, t-shirts, keychains, and many more gift ideas online. Yes, I'm talking about HP's Snapfish. The #1 online photo service is providing high-quality prints at a very, very competitive price. For all new users, they're even giving out 20 free prints. So start clicking. Well, if we've inspired you to start shooting your own movie, just remember to start learning about the medium that you choose. Can I get 2 tickets for Harry Potter? Thanks. Well, happy filming digitally. We're gonna watch a movie now. I'm Timothy Go. That's it.
Channel News Asia, a network of MediaCorp News.
Catch this program plus many more on Mob TV.
YOTZ, the evolution of luxury. Pride of ownership since 1997.
Tonight, assault on Pakistan's Red Mosque. How will this affect the fortunes of the country's beleaguered leader? And the nurseries of terror in Pakistan. The madrasas or religious schools, like the one in the Red Mosque, continue to be a breeding ground for radical ideas.
It's not the teaching actually which make them into a militant. The cleric actually builds actually militant mindsets so on.
On Insight, tonight at 9:30.
History. Science. Art. Religion.
Providing Asian perspectives in an ever-changing landscape. Channel News Asia. Time by Frank Muller. Brought to you by Sincere Fine Watches.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Elvin Yang.
And I'm Glenda Chong. You're watching Primetime
Asia.
The headlines. We are getting mixed reports on the fate of the South Korean hostages in Afghanistan. A Reuters report just in says that the Taliban has announced it has killed 1 Korean hostage. This after Kabul failed to free Taliban prisoners. The Taliban spokesman says they would kill more hostages if their demands are not met. But earlier, South Korea's Yonhap news agency reported that 8 of the 23 South Korean hostages will be released very soon. This apparently after a huge ransom was paid to the militants. China says it may introduce its first specific food safety law amidst a spate of food scandals. According to the China Daily, under the proposed new law, businesses will be fined $66,000 or have their licenses revoked if they use substandard ingredients. Authorities admit that there are many loopholes in the food safety system. International alarm over Chinese food exports has been building for months, but it is the locals who suffer most from the substandard food system. The full reports to come on Primetime News.
Talk to me. Talk to me. If you feel the need or when you need to feel it, talk to me. If you feel the need or when you need to feel it, talk to me.
Hello, testing. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Now? Can you see me now? Okay, give me a second. Hello, everyone. I'm Timothy Go. I think I look quite funny on webcam, but anyway, welcome to another episode of Learning and Communication here on That's IT. As human beings, we do communicate a lot. We are social creatures after all. But we used to communicate face to face, and then we moved on to voice, and then text messaging. And now it's so important to actually see the faces of the people we chat with online. So has our laptops, our mobile phones, or the internet improved the way we interact with each other? Meet Mark. He's your average guy who responds to his emails, makes his calls through his headset, and uses voice conferencing for his business meetings. And yes, just like you and me, he is part of this globalized world.
In my personal life, I think I'm probably quite well connected. I have a Facebook account, for example. I'm an Australian, but I live here in Singapore. And because of that, I need to contact my family in Australia. My wife is American, so we contact her family in the US. And my parents are from Scotland, so we contact my family in the UK also. We do that several ways, obviously by telephone. But in terms of virtual communication, we find it very cost-effective to use voice over IP. Also, if I see that my family and friends are online, it's very easy to start a chat with them using an instant messaging service.
And that's not all.
In the business scene, I think virtual communication is vital now to all of our communications, basically. We see that I communicate with all of the staff in my company via either instant messaging or, of course, via email and telephone. Virtual communication certainly has a growing role in both private life and also in corporate life. I think for our customers, for example, it's very important for us to still meet with them and talk with them face-to-face to ensure that we engage with them and really understand exactly what they need from a business point of view.
Now, besides just hearing a voice on the other side or reading a message off the screen, there is a new gadget on the block. Now, you can see the other person in full color, life-size.
It's so difficult nowadays for people to find the time to travel to meet their customers, to travel to meet their teammates, even to stay in contact with their families. And yet with Telepresence, we're re-enabling that process so that people can have meetings using Cisco Telepresence, have that face-to-face interaction, all the important things about physical or non-verbal communication, body language, non-verbal cues. You can do all of that with Telepresence. It's just that you don't have to travel to do it. You can do all that from your office.
Are we live? Afternoon, Singapore.
With a touch of a button, you can connect to another office in another part of the world. From the tables to the walls, it is just uncanny how everything looks the same. Each conferencing room is made out to look identical, giving each member a sense that they're talking to someone just sitting across the table.
People's experience with video conferencing traditionally has been that it is so obvious that it's a technology-driven experience. You walk into a video conference room, there's probably 3 or 4 remotes sitting on the table, there's 2 or 3 pages of instructions of how to use it. The system doesn't always work the way that it's meant to be. The size of the people on the other end of the call keeps reminding you that this is a technology experience. And we're focused on 3 things with Telepresence: quality, simplicity, and reliability. And you see the quality when you look at the 65-inch plasmas displaying 1080p high-definition video with life-size people on the other end. You can hear the quality in the audio, spatial wideband audio, and the simplicity of setting up a meeting with just one push of a button because it's integrated into your calendaring function.
This daring new piece of technology is set to revolutionize the very idea of business meetings. Just imagine, you could meet anyone, anywhere with probably all the efficiency of a real face-to-face meeting, minus the hassles that come with traveling and the jet lag.
I recently conducted a meeting from here in Singapore with colleagues in Melbourne and in San Jose, California. We were able to have that meeting, achieve all of our business goals, and at the end of the meeting, my Melbourne colleague drove home to his family and the next day was able to watch his son play football. So we were able to use Telepresence to meet all of our business goals at a very moderate cost, as well as allowing us to have a very good work-life balance. Thank you very much. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Cheers.
Someone once said the most important thing about communication is to hear what is not being said. So what happens if you're not happy with the way you interact with other people and want to start all over again? Sounds weird? I'll explain when we return.
Talk to me.
Size doesn't matter for this 2.5-kilo dog. She saved a toddler from a snake's attack by taking the worst of it herself. The full story of a child's best friend on Primetime News.
Businesses that understand success understand being different. And they know to realize success, they need a partner who understands what they understand. They recognize each customer is unique, with diverse goals and different needs. We've over 10,000 offices in 82 countries, tailoring solutions for your business. HSBC, the world's local bank.
Tonight, they're efficient,
The nice thing about biodiesel is that properties are similar to diesel.
environmental,
とにかく油をゴミに捨てるっていうことをやっぱりやめていかないと、でそれを何かに使うっていうことの発想でこういうことはいいことだって。
but are they economical?
550,000 isa.
Mahal masyado.
Asian vehicles ride the green wave, but will it be a bumpy road ahead for this green drive? Insight, tonight at 9:30.
My computer holds everything I cherish. Videos of my daughters. The latest fashion. It's emailed to me from the most faraway places. The lives of people I meet. I search for them on Google. And of course, I have all my designs for the perfect Saturday, made from needle and thread.
HP Pavilion DV9000T with Intel Centrino Duo mobile technology.
Achieve your business potential and learn how you can grow your business with the Today HP Total Care Seminar. Visit hptotalcare.com.sg for more details.
Talk to me.
So what happens when you get bored with what you're working on and you want to be someone else, dress differently, look differently, become a supermodel, a top-rated actor? But it's not possible to do it now. What do you do then? Well, it's easy. You create a second life. Second Life is the latest online offering by Linden Labs with over 8 million registered users. It is a brave new world where you design your own avatar, make new friends, play, learn, and do business. In a nutshell, this would be your second life.
We want to build a connected virtual world that everybody can use to learn, to play, to create businesses, and to do all of that together, which is the big difference from the web, right? The web is this sequential medium, right? You post on a blog, then I post on a blog, right? We're not doing things together. We're not having a dialogue. We're not having a conversation. We're having a monologue. And so the big difference with Second Life is all of this is happening in a shared space. It's a shared experience. When we consume media in Second Life, when we consume experiences in Second Life, we're doing it together, which is of course what we want to do because we're a social species.
It is this hunger for social interaction that brought people from all around the world into Second Life, into an online digital world that is imagined, created, and known by its residents.
I used to log into Second Life pretty often when I found different interesting friends in there. And I would meet them and we would go to virtual clubs in there and go dancing and whatnot because you can't do that in Second Life. And sometimes you just share your life troubles or whatever while you're in there. So it's therapeutic in that sense.
A warning, this is not a game. The creators of Second Life will tell you this is reality. It's a scary thought, though, considering how close to reality the whole experience really is. Think about it. There are people to meet. In fact, a fully functioning economy where you can buy and sell things. And from this Second Life, create opportunities. Promote yourself or your business, whether in your first life or your second life.
Second Life very clearly isn't a game. If you look at video games, like anything else, have signal characteristics. They have artificial conflict, they have a set of fixed outcomes, and Second Life doesn't have any of those things.
Just like our first life, or some of us might call it our reality, you can do business here in Second Life. The Linden dollar is a currency used in this world, and interestingly enough, it is pegged against the American greenback.
So last year, Angie Chung became one of the first few Second Life residents to hit $1 million in terms of what she owns. And so that sparked a gold rush or land rush. What people have been doing is they've set up businesses where they buy land, and so it becomes a very legitimate business that mirrors the real world, in fact. So, and just like the real world, because of this, land prices have gone up. So it's quite hilarious, but it mirrors the real world very accurately.
Perhaps what Second Life really offers is the freedom to dream and to live out your dream.
When we look at people, say, building businesses within Second Life, there's a lot of freedom because, let's say, you want to try to be a clothing designer. In the real world, you don't have a lot of freedom to do that because you need production capability, you need a lot of startup capital to try to do it, you need distribution. These are all large impediments to building that kind of business in the real world. In Second Life, you could go do it today.
Besides businesses, educational institutes have accounts in Second Life too. Nanyang Polytechnic in Singapore is one such example. Over at the School of Interactive and Design Media, students enter Second Life for their classes.
NYP decided to be on Second Life first because this is a technology program. It's digital entertainment technology, and innovation is our business pretty much. So we have to be familiar with new mediums and new technology.
Conventional teaching methods are shelved in this new medium. The whole idea is to engage the students and allow them to enjoy themselves while learning.
I always try not to replicate real life. If I replicate the typical setting of me standing and the students separated from me, that doesn't work. This is a new medium. So the actual setting is usually a very more, if I may say, familiar environment. I stand there and I have my slides inside the world, and I have the students around me. And so the way that I do is more of a discussion. So I bring a topic and say, let's talk about this. Let me show you now. Let's go to this place in Second Life where you can actually see an example of this. And then we have a discussion and I clarify the concepts and all. That's the way the lecture works.
Well, okay, holding a class in Second Life might sometimes be more engaging, but then you really can't replace the real classroom experience.
Some people might think that, oh, we could set up a virtual classroom in there, have students meet up online, they don't have to come to class. But the problem with that is that it's very easy to lose interest and isn't ideal for doing that. Face-to-face is still more engaging. So what we've found is that the better way to teach in Second Life is to set up simulations. So for instance, if you're teaching physics, you can actually show planetary systems, how things orbit and move around, and you could have the student, make some changes to the way it works and then see how the resultant outcome is. And they can learn from all these kind of simulations.
There was a skepticism from people, from students, even from staff and lecturers about Second Life. But is this a game? Is it not? But once we did it and once we saw the results, like, students were learning. Our students were actually hired by Linden Lab, Singapore. Once the whole management and all the lecturers saw that there are actually real values in education, everybody jumped in it. And we had actually a really nice support from the school, setting up the lab and all.
Since the students found the lesson so enjoyable in the virtual world, I decided to try and see for myself. So everyone, say hi to IT Tim Peckable.
Why are people drawn into Second Life? Off the top of my head, I see two compelling reasons. First of all, it would be one of the most accessible means for somebody to actually go into a space and actually have a physical body, sort of like an embodiment of themselves online. The other one is the idea that I think one of the most compelling reasons why Second Life is so interesting is also because of the non-verbal communication. So when I refer to non-verbal communication, I refer to things like gesturing and all that. And so, for example, let's say you were to instant message a friend and say, get well soon, you could put a smiley. So that's an attempt, and the emoticon is an attempt at which you convey a non-verbal. In a sense of Second Life, you can actually say that, plus you can go forward to the person and hug the person.
Well, in the ideal world, I would love to say that I've mastered the art of moving around or to use my character to communicate with someone else non-verbally, possibly through a hug. But wait a minute. In the real world, I can't even get past changing my avatar. The controls and my movements sure take a while to get used to. And with the large amount of bandwidth that the program needs to transfer all that 3D information, it is tough to fully appreciate the whole experience.
First life or second life? I think I'll deal with this life first, so when we return, we'll have a look at all the latest gadgets to help us communicate better, virtually. We'll be right back.
Talk to me.
Size doesn't matter.